elephant in this particular room. I refer to the United States of America. Now, all eyes were on the judiciary in Nigeria over these last few weeks. I myself played a very small part, but a part nonetheless, in focusing eyes that would not hitherto have been waiting on the outcome of a decision of a court in Nigeria. All eyes were on the judiciary because it turned out that the ultimate American Manchurian candidate was somehow placed in the presidency of Africa's most populous country, most rich country. He was the ultimate Manchurian candidate because the Americans knew everything about his past as a bagman to the drug mobs in the city of Chicago. They even confiscated $500,000 from him in his days on the street, washing money, carrying money for the drug barons, the gang bosses in gangland, Chicago, Illinois. So who better to have as the president of Africa's most populous country at a time of swirling change on the continent than a man who literally depends for his very life on you? And that is the state of affairs, where the illegitimate president, Tinubu, has been fraudulently imposed on the people of Nigeria, and all eyes were on the judiciary. Surely the courts would see sense and send the bagman on his way. Did it work out that way? Well,
that is George Galloway, British Member of Parliament for over 20 years, talking about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, especially about his recent validation by the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Nigeria, which delivered its verdict on September 6th, 2023. Now, George Galloway is using his podcast to take a look at the man Tinubu and the verdict of that particular tribunal or Presidential Election Petition Court. Welcome to this channel. And if you are new to this channel, this is to let you know that this channel is a channel where we discuss everything politics, especially about the 2023 presidential election held in Nigeria on February 25, 2023, and the results controversially announced on March 1st, 2023. Because of that controversy, the result was challenged at the Presidential Election Petition Court, which delivered its verdict, as I said earlier on September 6th, and the petitioners, not satisfied, have headed to the Supreme Court. Now, George Galloway is talking about Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It is interesting for us to understand what Judge Galloway said about Tinubu. The adjective he used in describing him. Because you have to understand where this man was coming from. You have to understand where he was coming from. And you can see he called Tinubu the ultimate American Manchurian candidate that was placed in the presidency in Nigeria. He called it ultimate American Manchurian candidate. You have to understand what is a Manchurian candidate that Tinubu was described as. What does it mean to be a Manchurian candidate? What does it mean when a country is run by a Manchurian candidate? A Manchurian candidate is a person, especially a politician, being used as a puppet by an enemy power. So what George Galloway was saying, that Tinubu is allegedly a puppet that was being used by the enemy of Nigeria. Here he was talking about United States. Now, the term is commonly used to indicate disloyalty and corruption. What does that disloyalty mean? It means that the person is disloyal to the country that imposed him as a puppet, that uses him as a puppet. And of course, the person is linked to corruption. That corruption is always involved when you see a candidate who is described as a Manchurian candidate. Now, it could also mean a person who is not loyal to, or who harms their own country or political party because they are under the control or influence of another country or party. You remember that at the run-up to the threats to impose, to invade Niger Republic, there were many Nigerians who were suggesting that Tinubu was desperate to invade Niger Republic to impress the Western powers, that he was pushing for war at the behest of Western interests like the United States. You remember that? A lot of people made that argument at the time, that he wasn't just doing it on his own, that he was doing it at the behest of the United States. That's why he was beating drum of war against Niger. Of course, we know that if not for the pushback by the northern people, especially northern lawmakers, northern governors, and northern establishment, that was what stopped that, because there would have been political consequences for any attempt to invade Niger Republic using Nigerian military force under the guise of ECOWAS. So this, when you talk about that somebody is a puppet, as he's alleging, he's talking about the person is not there to represent the interests of his people. And he was not talking about the fact that the US know about the baggage that Tinubu was carrying, and that it is in their own interest to have a man like him in charge, somebody who they will have something on. That's what he was alleging. That's what George Galloway is saying. That's why he called him a Manchurian candidate. He said that the Americans knew, you listening to him, he said the Americans knew everything about Tinubu, that he was a bad man for the drug mob in the city of Chicago, and that they even confiscated $500,000. Of course, he was referring to the $460,000 that he forfeited to the United States government, which is as proceeds of crime, which they are not debating that it's not true. What they are now saying, what the presidential election petition used in exonerating him was that it has passed 10 years since that event happened, and then in any case that Tinubu can use to travel to America, so it means there was nothing against him. They say the forfeiture was a civil forfeiture, not a criminal forfeiture. They say that what was indicted was his bank account and not himself. Which, if you watch the whole video by this George Galloway, if you watch the whole video when he was looking into this matter, that it was Tinubu's bank account that was charged and not Tinubu. And then he asked David Hundiyin he now told David Hunde that, look, it means that David Hunde was making a reference, if you watch the whole video, that it means that he can use a gun and shoot somebody, and he will claim that he didn't know it was wrong to do that. David Hunde was referring to the case of the vice president who was exonerated, that he was not aware about the double nomination. So he was excused from being held accountable for that double nomination. So Galloway was saying that it's tantamount to, one can even say that you use a gun and kill somebody, and then when they ask you, say it wasn't you that killed the person, it was the gun that did the killing. You know, it was on a lighter mode anyway. But he was saying that the United States were aware of all these things and confiscated the drug money from him. Okay? And yet, they did nothing to stop somebody like that emerging the president of Nigeria, because it serves their interest to have somebody of that nature, because it will help them in having a hold on him and having a hold on Nigeria. Okay? So it's an I don't know how to describe it, but it is happening and we are witnessing it. Because he was saying that, of course, what he was saying, that how could a man who is known to be a bad man for the drug mob in the city of Chicago, and who they even confiscated $500,000 from him in his days on the streets, washing money, carrying money, okay? Washing money, carrying money. What he was talking about there is just money laundering. Okay, cleaning money, cleaning dirty money, and make it appear clean. Dirty money clean. Of course, if you have read, Chicago is known for crime. You have to go and read books on the lives and time of Al Capone, Scarface, Alfonso Capone. When you read about him, Al Capone was a major mob in Chicago in his heydays. And some of the kind of gangland mob stars that was created in that era, many of them are into drugs right now. Unlike the liquor that was the issue at the time Al Capone was in charge. So that when you hear Galloway talk about the gangland, he was talking about Chicago that is known as a mob territory during the time of Alfonso Capone or Scarface Al Capone. There are a lot of movies on this man. Go and read about him. Okay, that's why you see him sounding that they know that this man was allegedly cleaning money for the mobs, for the mob bosses or the ganglands in Chicago, Illinois. And they allowed him to emerge as the president of Africa's most populous and most rich country. So they are happy to have somebody like that at a time of swelling change on the continent. They say, for a man, he said, for a man who depends on his very life on you, that means that his life depends on the United States to protect him. So when you have somebody you put that is in power that depends on you, it means that you have a hold on him. That's what he's alleging. That as far as this man is in the villa, he is going to do the bidding of the United States. Okay? And you can see how he went ahead and described Tinubu to be the illegitimate president. He called him an illegitimate president. Of course, Tinubu would not agree. His lawyers would not agree that he's illegitimate. But that is the argument also that Atiku Abubakar and P2B are making. They say he's illegitimate. That's why they are in court. If in their own understanding he's legitimate, they wouldn't be in court challenging his election. Of course, you and I know, if you go to Twitter, you see a lot of hashtag, Tinubu is not my president, Obi is my president. So what he said there is nothing new to the Nigerian audience, especially those who have a voice on social media, especially on Twitter or X. You see so many people, including celebrated activists like Aisha Yusufu, saying that he's not my president, that he was fraudulently imposed on the country. A whole lot of people are doing that. But this is coming from a foreigner. This is coming from a veteran parliamentarian in the United Kingdom. And it also sent a lot of message to the foreign investors, because foreign investors are always wary when dealing with a president whose legitimacy is suspect, even if the legitimacy has been approved by the Constitution, as in the case of Tinubu. Because let's face the fact, he was announced the winner, he had been sworn in, and he's running the country effectively following the Constitution. And the same Constitution has been interpreted to say that he deservedly won the election. But then, when you have a swath of people, millions of people, who are just silently rejecting your legitimacy, but they are enduring it because they have no choice, it also affects the perception of the international community and also affects their ability to trust bringing their money into your country, because seriously, it affects the way people perceive the country, whether it is stable to be able to withstand shocks that may arise as a result of such illegitimacy. So it's interesting that the foreigner is pointing this out. And you can see that what he said, he felt disappointed, because you can see that he was expecting that the judiciary would get rid of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but the judiciary didn't do that. Instead, the judiciary insisted that, especially the presidential election petition tribunal, that he was legitimately elected. They didn't send him packing the way that Galloway wanted. Okay, so it's the way it is. That is the way it is. They didn't send him packing as he had anticipated that they should have done, given the weight of evidence according to him. If you watch the whole of the video, you see we'll talk about the weight of evidence against Tinubu, that there's no way the court could have exonerated him and cleared him. But that is what our court has done at the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal. But now, Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar, they have gone to the Supreme Court to test the capacity of the Supreme Court to do anything to the contrary. Okay? So now the issue is, will the Supreme Court send Tinubu packing, as Galloway had expected the Presidential Election Petition Court to have done, given the weight of evidence against him, especially over his alleged connection with drug dealers in the United States? Are they going to be able to do anything different from what the Presidential Election Petition Court have done? We may never know until November, when they will deliver their judgment, one way or the other. But one thing is clear: the world is paying attention on Nigeria. The world is paying attention on Nigeria. And like Galloway said, all eyes remains on the Nigerian judiciary until the Supreme Court rules. That is the situation of things right now in Nigeria. Thank you for watching this video, and if you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, Google will rank it high and recommend it for more people. Thank you, and God bless you and yours.